Now, since we're talking about psychology, again, it got brought up, so we've got to address it. The Giddy meter, this is something I should have mentioned at the outset that you are a frequent panelist on IBD Live every Thursday. Usually, people can see you on IBD Live. They know your mantra, weeklies first, but they also know about the Arnie Giddy meter.
The I
And since
think
your last
Alec
name was
put it the
Gutierrez,
Goody Giddy
the Giddy
meter.
Goody, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, or the Goody Giddy.
yeah.
So maybe you can describe that for folks that aren't on IBD Live and maybe not familiar with that.
Yeah, I know my wife's gonna watch this, but she probably put record it, and you can use this. My kids get older, but basically, when you start getting giddy, kind of thing, there's something wrong. Meaning that when I start getting giddy, I'm at home, and my kids start making a mess. I'm being loud and obnoxious. They're getting. Usually, I'd be like, "What's going on?" kind of thing. And when I start ignoring little details like that at home, something is wrong. Okay, that
Because
means
you're
the
just focused
market,
on how much money you're making.
I'm looking at the P&L, right? I'm looking at the P&L, just kind of like, okay, I mean, no one can do anything wrong. You're walking around, and when I start feeling like that,
Hmm.
time out,
Hmm.
time out. Wait. Let's slow it down a little bit. Go back, start looking at my portfolio and seeing where I can start taking some profit. And that's one of the things I look for when I start feeling a little too I don't want to use the word. It just, it just things are not everything just sliding off. Things that you would really kind of look at and pay attention to. It's just no longer an issue right now because you're in the zone. You're making money. You're P&L. You're already thinking about your summer vacation. You're already thinking about you're going to do it this kind of that kind of thing. So you're preoccupied thinking about a lot of other things. But that giddiness, you got to be careful with, right? And it's that emotional side, that psychology side, because when you start getting giddy, it's kind of like, okay, and we all been there. There's a different way of describing it. Everyone feels it because unless you're a machine, you're going to have to, be disciplined with managing that emotion.
Right. No, absolutely. And again, it's hard, right? This is one of those things that comes from experience. It's a little bit harder to quantify that giddy meter. You just kind of know it when you feel it type thing. So it's hard because we talk so much about a rules-based system. And I guess for me, when I start feeling that level of excitement and maybe a little bit too much, what it does is it makes me focus on my rules a little bit more. Hey, are there things that maybe I'm ignoring these things that are triggering cell rules because I'm just thinking I'm too hot and everything I touch is gold. So yeah, they're it doesn't mean that we're going away from rules. It just means, hey, at least for me, sometimes it tells me focus on your rules a little bit more, especially those cell rules.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely have to go back and always challenge yourself and do a post analysis, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I really believe in. It's like in any, it's like when a major league baseball player goes back and starts focusing on the basics again, but they go
Mhm.
back and start instead of hitting off the tee, right? This is a person that's been doing it for the last 25, 30 years, just really working on his swing again, doing an analysis. Maybe he's going through a slump, or maybe he's doing a great job, just wants to make sure he doesn't get carried away, right? The
Mhm.
psychology part of it. But again, the analysis part will help you still establish those rules, but no, there's a specific rule that fits my personality, right?
Mhm.
This is what works for me. You have to know yourself when you start, getting into a certain range, whether it's you're up a certain amount in your position, you're down a certain amount because you know thyself kind of thing. And it makes things a lot easier when you have rules based like we do. But at the same time, I have specific rules for myself, kind of like, okay, Arnie, when you start getting like this, you start smiling, you start like picking up the phone or you start talking to people, you're like excited kind of thing. The last couple of days, there's been a lot of excitement, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That Giddy has been going, it's been taking off. And, you just got to stop, pull back a little bit, reevaluate what's the situation, what could possibly go wrong. Defense first. What are the possibilities that we can get a pullback? What are the probabilities that the market can sell off? And you just never know, right? So you
Yeah.
always want to be prepared,
Right.
right? But the rule, the Giddy rule for me specifically is when I start feeling that way, I'm just like, wait a minute. And it's funny, Justin. I go back and I go back and mark it up on the chart, and I put a little G next to you kind of like where I kind of like started feeling this way. I went back into the analysis, and it's been pretty good. It's been
Yeah.
pretty good.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's like a secondary indicator, but
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe it's something we can put in the market surge charts going forward. A little G that shows up like the ants indicator, kind of
Yeah, yeah.
thing.